So let's actually recap what's happened since you guys last talked. The Panthers, they win games 2 and 3, and then the Oilers, when they're down 3 games to none, they come out and do the same thing Dallas did. They get an 8-1 victory on Saturday night. Um, Absolutely wild. Uh, Connor McDavid finally showed up to the finals. Welcome. You're about 3 games late. We'll see how it goes from here. I did see a couple of interesting notes. This isn't the first time Edmonton's been down. It's the first time they've been down 3-0 in this playoffs. But this entire playoff series, not just the series, but the entirety of the playoffs, they've had a couple of elimination games and they've won every single one of them. So they're not an easy out. You got to get that getting that last win is the hardest one, right? And so Florida has to find a way to get the job done. And you don't want to go back to Edmonton for game 6. Just finish it in game 5. We don't want to see uh, Corey Perry or Evander Kane or anybody else, over there happy. I don't want to see Evander Kane happy. I don't want to see Corey Perry happy. I feel that deep in my bones. I need them to lose. So go Florida, get the job done. Game 5 is Tuesday in Florida. Game 6 would be Friday. Game 7 would be next Monday if necessary. So yeah, this is it's coming down to it a little bit. Also, another stat that I actually just saw for this season, since this new head coach took over for Edmonton, just to prove how tough and how much of an pain in the ass they are. They've had 3 other losing streaks of 3 games. Okay, so they've lost the first 3 games of the series. They then followed it up with win streaks of like 5 games and 8 games and 9 games. So again, they can if they get on a roll, they can really rip off a bunch of wins, and they have the skill, they have the ability to come back from this deficit. So finish the job, don't give them that opportunity. um I'm hoping that 8-1 was just their, the last gasp, uh but we'll see.
Florida
Oh.
definitely just looks like the bigger, stronger team. I mean,
Mhm.
just physically, they look like, they're just pushing everybody around.
Yeah,
Um,
I have
3,
a quote from
they had a shot. Game
mhm.
3, Ottawa had a shot to win. Obviously, they win game 4.
Edmonton, not Ottawa.
Edmonton, see?
Yeah, yeah, wrong
Don't
Canadian city.
uh, that was an error.
Yeah,
It's been a
turnover
fun
in the
series. It's been a
yep.
fun series to watch. I hope it goes a little longer, just because, like, the NBA playoffs are already a dud, and I would hate for, the hockey playoffs, the Stanley Cup, to be a dud. So I want a longer series. So that's why I'm hoping it goes another game or 2, longer.
Got it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. New neighbors, man. I can hear it. I don't know. I don't think you guys
We
can.
cannot,
That's great. That's fine.
so don't
It's
worry
just
about it.
every time if you see me look up, that's what's happening. It's some chair got dropped basically right on top
We're
of
just
me.
pounding. Damn
Yeah.
this guy's podcast. We
Yeah.
just moved in.
Shut the hell up. God damn it, Whitey. Like
The hell with Florida.
yeah, Florida can go suck a fuck.
Connor McDavid.
Okay.
San Jose Sharks, dude.
Oh, hold on. I was just thinking about the one joke I was trying to make. It's like Florida's bigger, stronger. It made me think of the line from the Mighty Ducks too when they're playing Iceland. They're like, they're bigger, they're stronger, they have more facial hair. That's what I just thought about. Okay, so now let's move on
San
to
Jose
the
Sharks.
Sharks news.
Ryan, correct me how
Ryan
to Warsofsky.
Warsofsky. Yep,
He's promoted to the next head coach as the San Jose Sharks.
yep, that's right.
So
He
the
was the
Sharks get
assistant.
a guy.
Yeah, he was the assistant. The players all seemed to really like him. They all vouched for him. Um, I would have loved to have seen Marco Sturm come back home, but the players really already have a great working relationship with Ryan Warsofsky already. He's young. He's actually younger than me. Like I think he's like 36. So, but he's been a head coach for minor league hockey teams, and just kind of worked his way up through the systems. and so this is his first shot at an NHL job, and I'm glad the Sharks are not doing a retread. I'm glad that they're trying to look for somebody new, even if it's somebody in the that's already in the organization. This is a guy that's, like I said, he's been a head coach before, but he's been a head coach in the minors, at the AHL level and at the ECHL level, and he just kind of worked his way up through the system. So this is his first shot at the big job in the NHL, and I love that. And I'm really glad that we're not getting somebody that's coached like four teams already and is just that the league just keeps cycling through over and over and over and over and over again. So I'm like I said, I'm really excited for it. They had their press conference earlier today. I was working. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'm sure it all went lovely and wonderful, and I didn't see anybody like posting anything shocked and surprising. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it sounds like said Mike Greer went around and talked to his players, and all these young guys they got gave them the thumbs up, and
Mhm.
I think for their development, keeping some type of continuity for them was
Absolutely.
probably something that the general manager and front office was valued,
Hmm.
especially as they continue to evaluate this young talent.
Right.
But then also having a young mind that can relate to younger players, especially if you have Will Smith coming in, and
Hmm.
potentially Macklin
So,
Celebrini
mhm.
coming in. There's a shot that Celebrini goes to college for another year. He came out and said, it wouldn't be a bad thing if I stayed another year in college. So, however
Yeah.
that situation goes,
Hmm.
but even in if Celebrini comes out, having a younger coach relating to a 20, 21-year-old player or players,
Hmm.
um, another retread, as you said. So
Yeah.
sounds like a really great hire.
Yeah. He's
Obviously, as
defensive
fans, we're
minded.
we're we're cheering for him. So
Mhm.
let's
Yeah.
let's see it. Let's get at it.
Yep. He's a defensive minded coach as well. And obviously the defense wasn't all that great this past year. They were like the team overall team defense was like, near the bottom, like, 20, like bottom five or something in most categories.
Well, they had the
But,
number one overall
but,
pick.
but yeah, obviously it's, they weren't a good team. Shocker. But their penalty kill, they were about middle of the pack. I think they were like 18th. So, that's something to work you can build on that. Like this is a guy like he showed a modicum of, success performing, outperforming the expected value. Like if you're a bottom 5 team, you expect to be bottom 5 in every category, but the defense on the penalty kill was a little bit better than you would have expected. So that's something to build on. And obviously, he was in charge of the defense last year. And so, giving him the big job being in charge of everything, hopefully he'll bring in some assistants that can, really lead to more scoring opportunities. But like on the defensive side, I think that, he'll be able to implement his own system instead of Dan Quinn's system. Uh, and Did I say Dan Quinn?
You did.
The football. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, moving on. David Quinn. Uh, I was thinking. I don't know where the football guy came from.
I was
I
gonna
just
say I
threw
didn't
myself
know
off.
Dan Quinn was coaching hockey now. So
Fuck darn it. Okay, so yeah, instead of implementing David Quinn's system
Mhm.
on defense, he'll be able to implement his own. And I'm sure, it's going to be an opportunity to, especially bringing in the new young talent up through the system. Uh, Hopefully, brighter days are ahead. That's where I'm trying to get to.
Absolutely.
You know. All right, so
Absolutely.
I think with that said, let's move on to this Utah note.
Utah.
Utah. All right, so the Utah Hockey Club unveiled their logos, and there's 6 options left now for fans to choose from. You guys talked about this a little bit last week, so the official names, just to recap, are possibilities are Utah Hockey Club, Utah Blizzard, Utah Venom, Utah Mammoth, Utah Outlaws, and Utah Yeti. Um, I think, and it sounds like Yeti is the front runner. The only one small issue is with Colorado Avalanche. They do have like an alternate patch on the foot that's like a Yeti footprint, so they'll have to probably work something out with Colorado and get that figured out. I mean, I think about the Warriors losing the mascot Thunder, to the Oklahoma because the Oklahoma City Thunder came into existence. So
Right.
so I'm sure something like that will have to happen if they end up going with Utah Yeti, which is the front runner. As far as the color scheme, though, it's going to be this color scheme. Basically, you're looking at sort of a light sky blue type with black and white outlines, and I think it's a fairly clean look. It's not really offensive. It doesn't. I'm not super wowed by it, but it gets the job done, and these things are going to be collector's items, assuming they don't go with Utah Hockey Club as the permanent name. These this will be like something collectors will be like, oh, for that first year they were in Utah before they were the Yeti, they were just the Utah Hockey Club. Like those jerseys will go for crazy, um, like collectors items and stuff like that in
Sure.
the future. So
Well,
yeah,
on a
so
on a
I
on
mean,
a sad note,
yeah,
Fnatic is going to be producing the sweaters for
yeah,
hockey,
yeah,
which is shit because
yeah,
Fnatic sucks.
they've really they shit the bed so hard on the baseball uniforms. We talked about that in the past, and it's just embarrassment. Like, just it was really,
I have
really bad,
ordered
man.
over the years. I've ordered T-shirts that were like actual Fnatic stuff.
Hmm.
It's really shitty quality. The situation with baseball is Fanatics made the jersey under Nike's name, and they followed everything to a T. Well, it's still shit. It's shit quality. I've ordered hats and shirts.
Hmm.
Fanatics is a trash brand.
Yeah, the screen printing of like I just get like a Niners shirt, and it's off center,
I
and
already
I
know.
fold
I
it.
already know when the first sweaters start to be delivered to fans, there is going to be an outcry of like, this is a terrible product. It's going to happen.
Yeah, this is. I'm willing to put some money on that. Like it feels like an inevitability almost. So
Exactly, dude.
You know, I, I I would be more shocked if there wasn't a problem.
Yeah,
Like really, I truly would be. Like in a world where like
yeah,
where it actually does look good or whatever, like that would I don't know that I can imagine that. You know, we
yeah.
talked about imagining worlds where something happens. Like Dallas coming back in the series, right? I can't imagine the world where FedEx doesn't fuck this up at least a little bit, you know.
Absolutely.
So that's just I'm just kind of patiently waiting to see how this gets fucked up. That's what we're
Yep,
really looking for.
yep.
But yeah, they got their new logos and at least temporary logos, and the color scheme. It sounds like it's going to be the thing that sticks, and hopefully, there's not too many issues with it.
Yeah, I don't really like any of these names, to be honest.
Yeah,
Blizzard, that's like the McFlurry thing from like Sonic or something, or Dairy Queen.
yeah, it's Dairy Queen. Yeah, yeah.
Venom, Outlaws, that just sounds like that just sounds super minor league.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that's like
it's
especially
giving minor
Outlaws,
league. Yeah.
especially
Outlaw
Outlaws.
yeah, it makes me think of, like, every team in Canada is called the Rough Riders,
Yeah,
it's
it's
the same
just
it's minor
um
league, it's bush league, but yeah,
Mammoth,
so
Yeti, I guess
Yeti's
those are
fine.
the best out of those, but I
I'm
find Yeti and Mammoth still both kinda lame. Uh,
uninspiring, I guess.
yeah, and, I said this last week is there's something about teams with the plural, Yankees,
Mhm,
Athletics,
mhm.
49ers,
Yeah, yeah,
Raiders,
yeah,
like, there's something about plural in a team name,
right.
and, not getting that from any of these other than the generic Outlaws.
Mhm,
So I just think there's something to be said about the S and making
Right.
that plural. It just comes off better. Um, so I don't know. If I had to pick, I'm probably just sticking with a hockey club.
Just go full Washington on it, right? Yeah.
Well, they
You
should
know,
have stayed the Washington Football Club.
I don't disagree. Yeah, so I mean, I think Utah Yeti is fine. I don't necessarily I know that the Seattle Kraken, they opted to not do the plural s, so there is a recent pattern of that. Um so I mean, you yeah,
There's only
like
one
like you said,
Kraken.
yeah, there's only one Kraken, there's only one Yeti. I mean, and he lives in the Matterhorn at Disneyland. Uh
Well, I don't even know. Is Yeti like individual and plural, or would you say Yetis?
that's a good question.
So I
I
I
don't
don't know. I'm an idiot. Like,
Yeah, I'll check with Henry Zabrowski of last podcast on the left. He might actually have a better answer for that.
yeah,
It's
so
like sort of cryptid, world. That's more their brand. My dad in the chat says,
Himalayan.
should be Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Yeah, I don't know. I think Bigfoot's a little Sasquatch. That's more Pacific Coast. I think it's a little bit too far east in Utah, so I don't necessarily agree with that. Because I think going with Yeti is a little. If you're gonna go that route, is a little bit better because at least it's in the snow and it's evoking,
Yeah.
you know, scary monster in the fucking mountains.
They should have been the
Uh,
Yowie. The
yeah,
Yowie. No,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I these names are just uninspired. They just
right.
um but in their in the ownership's defense is you got to find a name that's not copywritten.
Mhm.
And there's a ton of minor league teams in various, not just hockey, but baseball, basketball, football, like anything, organizations that just have stuff already copywritten.
Yeah,
So your pool is a
right.
lot less.
Yeah, I would say my second choice is probably Venom, actually, just because you can like do snakes and stuff like that as your like mascot, and there really isn't a lot of snakes for hockey, so that's a little bit original as well. You don't have to like steal the mascot away from Colorado by doing Venom. Uh, I mean, which is, but again, I'm not totally inspired by it. Then again, it's not my team.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be booing them at some point.
right.
You know. Oh
Yetis.
well.
It would be Yetis. See, I
uh,
think the Utah Yetis sounds better than the Yeti.
I don't know. I'm honestly good either way with it. Utah Yeti, Utah Yetis. Um, I don't know. It just it. I think
New
the
York
flow is
Yankee.
fine either way.
New York Yankee.
It's
San
well.
Francisco
I mean,
49er.
Brody Brazil talked about this with the and the Utah Yeti. Like I don't know. I think it. I think in my head it probably should be Yetis as well. But I mean, whatever. It's
Yeah.
okay. I think that's
We
that's
we
probably
beat
enough.
this Yetis to death.